Before you call them friend, gotta prove them first. Is there really loyalty when you're at your worst? We need to hit her all like the wire. You're looking for some truth, I'll supply it. If you want it too soft, this ain't them. You gon' choose a law over sin. It's just some uncut gems. It's just some uncut gems.
We was diamonds in the dirt, just grinding in the turf. Our mama go berserk, trying to keep from riding in the hearse. Now we lions in the work, sons of Zion, we the church. Different color fringes is looking vibrant on my shirt until I'm lying in the dirt. I pray to be a fire hydrant with this word, like a geyser on a curb.
First and foremost, I want to say call halal, but now we're Yahweh Bahashim, my Shaq Block, Yahweh, windy as hell, outside of Los Lunas, Mexico, outside, what was it, the Los Lunas Indian Reservation is where we're at. So this is the entryway to the Los Lunas Decalogue, you know, we're North Kingdom, inscribed the 10 Commandments. Let's get it. Alright. Get another hike. We're gonna be going right up into the mountains right now. Excuse the audio. It is a very windy day out here in New Mexico. I will say this, the countryside is pretty damn nice. Got ourselves a nice little hike. I think it's about, what, 2 miles? I recommend every Israelite, if they can, come out here and come see this part of our history, man. Let's get a quick video of the landscape. Alright, still walking. Yo, check this out though. You're gonna come up to an arrow made out of rocks. Whether it's someone that's done this recently, has been here, follow the path. Just follow the path. We still at the base of the mountain. Still got a long ways to go. Look at this. Is that another arrow? Look at this. Got a whole nother arrow. Look at that. I think somebody was nice enough to do some shit. Salak, do some nice things and point in the right direction. Oh yeah. Got people there. Remember this giant rock face. I'm gonna keep going this way. I completely did not hit record, Lord in Christ. So there's going to be a couple of stone arrows on the ground. Just keep following the path until you reach a little gated fence there. And then you'll start your ascent up into But yeah, what you want to do to get to the spot at the start is literally right across the Los Lunas Indian Reservation. Just across from the landfill exit. Park in front of the landfill and begin your journey. Part of me wonders if our Northern Kingdom brothers even visit this place anymore, seeing as how the reservation is just around the corner. Look at that. Sun just came out. Just beautiful. Off into the distance over there is a gate opening that will start the ascent up to the mountain. Watch where you step. It does get a bit sandy. Some dips, some holes. I highly recommend keeping your feet and your hands out of them. Yeah, but just think of this trek that our forefathers had to do. Come up here and write this, to inscribe it into a rock face. there's some Christian apologists out there that had an attempt to debunk the Decalogue. My question is this: who outside of the Hebrew Israelite community, as they know it today, write and speak and teach the Paleo Hebrew that is inscribed on this rock face in the form of sentences to make statements? The language that was of the ancient Phoenician text, where it had dialects of Sumerian, or Samaritan, my bad. Of course, Phoenician, those are the original Philistines. And of course, the Hebrew Israelite dialect, are all using the same characters, and more congregational aspects, right? Approaching the gate, and as you can see, follow the arrows. As the lovely lady just pointed out, this is the arrow. Not gonna lie, I have a fear of quicksand, which is why I do not like the desert. So yeah, I have a fear of dying in quicksand. It's a thing. Yeah, I don't like it. All right, go through this gate, and there goes another arrow. All right, the arrow pointing. Now it's time to start the ascent into the mountains. All right. It is a bit of a lengthy hike. I think it was like a mile and a half, almost 2 miles. Entirely. Well worth it though. Well worth it. Especially when you actually get to see the finished product. Again, not sure who laid them out. However, they are laid out indeed. No signs of wildlife, though I do not recommend to go looking. All right. Oh no, there's a fork in the road. Which way do I go? Figure out which way to go. So find the rocks pointing this way. So we're gonna try and go this way. See what happens. Alright. Oh, that was the right way. Get confused over here. Got an arrow. Time to start walking to the mountain. I remember this. If I'm not mistaken, this arrow was made by an Israelite brother. Shaw. He and his wife made the journey up here many years ago. Shout out to that brother in leaving these arrows. If it wasn't him, then it was brothers before him. I know he inscribed his name somewhere up here though. Listen, follow the arrows and it'll lead you to the right direction. And let me tell you, this is a workout. A well worth workout though. So how much you feel, baby? Getting steeper as we go. I'll record when there's some more stable footing. All right, It doesn't look like much right here, but here's the thing. You don't have to go all the way up the mountain to get to it. But family, the hike is well worth it. Be careful and watch your step. Because guess what? Our forefathers were here. People have tried to chip it off, degrade the inscribings, but it's here. All praises to the Most High. Shalom, family. First and foremost, I'm going to give call halal, but now Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Malaki Habashai. This is Brother Matati Bamba Nyamyan from Sakari, Dallas, Sakari DTX. Just recently, I was blessed enough to be able to go out to what is known as the Los Lunas Decalogue, right? Most of us, well, I won't say most, but if you don't know what it is essentially the Ten Commandments written in the rock face in the midst of a mountain about 30 minutes outside of Los Lunas, New Mexico. And as we know, in these lands in America, we know that the Northern Kingdom was out here, talking about, the house of Ephraim. You got Gad, Reuben, Asher, you got Issachar, you got Zebulun, you got the 10 tribes is what you would call them, right? So they would have been the ones out here to be the ones that wrote it. And it's not just 10 Commandments written in English, it's the 10 Commandments written in the Paleo Hebrew, right? So if you saw the earlier video that led up to this, or the various clips of videos, I did try to do a brief lesson while at the Los Lunas Decalogue. However, because it was not completely high up in the mountains, however, the surface area in which there is for people to stand, it's not very big. The winds were extremely high, so it did grow to be somewhat dangerous to actually attempt to record out there. It's hence why I did essentially try to keep it short. Sound quality is not as good, but at least this way I'll be able to go more in depth into the stone, and also through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, I'll be able to prove that it had to have been the Northern Kingdom that did it, in regards to how it is, because it is the 10 Commandments written in a stone face. And we're about to get into who would be the people that did it, as well as we're going to get into some scriptures about it as well. A lot of people are skeptical about Wikipedia, but I don't know if you guys can see my mouse here. These numbers right here actually, they cite sources. You see what I'm saying? That's how you can check if something's actually valid or not. That one little thing pulled up all these sources right here. So if you're on Wikipedia, check the sources that are on there, right? So that way you can know that the information that you're reading, though people can go in and just submit it, you can know whether or not it's viable information or not, right? But let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to do a little bit of reading on the internet, and then we're going to get to some scripture, right? So there's a little thing that people like to call Samaritanism, right? So Samaritanism is an Arabic monotheistic ethnic religion, as they call it, of the Samaritan people, an ethnic religious group who, alongside Jews, originate from the ancient Israelites. So again, this goes into the sightings. That right here, you got the Samaritan update, retrieved October 2021. Going down, you have sources from 1994, the Shemilit Silah, the head of the Rebbeite, Karaite, and Samaritan Jews on history of a title. Let's see, you got Coggins 1975. You see, you have Grunbaum, M. Gaggard, Rappaport 1862. Mitgeth Ithleton Osfassend Uberdad Samaritan. I'm pretty sure that's German. But again, you have these sources to go to, right? So continuing on. So it's letting already off the bat. It's letting you know that these are the same people, the people of Samaria and the so-called Jews, that's northern and southern kingdom. We're gonna get into that, right? Its central holy text is the Samaritan Pentateuch, which Samaritans believe is the original unchanged version of the Torah, which is used by the Jews. In addition to the Samaritan Pentateuch, Samaritans also revere their version of the book of Joshua and recognize some later biblical figures such as Eli. The Samaritan religion is internally described as a holy faith that began with Moses, unchanged over the millennia that have since passed. Samaritans believe that the Jewish Torah and Judaism, by extension, have been corrupted by time, no longer serve the duties of the Most High, mandated to the Israelites on Mount Sinai, while Jews in the Temple Mount Jerusalem as the most sacred location of their faith. Samaritans instead regard it as Mount Gerizim near Nablus. So that's just to give a preface on what Samaritanism is. Basically, that's just their way of saying what the Northern Kingdom was following in regards to quote-unquote religion. Salaki, one second. Salaki. All right. But yeah, that's essentially just what they're going into in regards to it, right? But the reason why I wanted to bring this out, because essentially this is the second page that I found, right? But the reason why I brought this up was this. Let's go back a page. If my slow-ass internet will load. There we go. All right. So again, still on Wikipedia. Essentially what we're reading about right now is what's called the Karaite and the Samaritan Mezuzah. If you don't know what a mezuzah is, well, if you're just coming into this thing, essentially the mezuzah it's that plaque that we're supposed to put on our doorposts pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter. Or it could be a plaque, or you could handwrite it, but essentially it's the law that we're supposed to put onto our doors, right? So to an extent, the house of Ephraim, Northern Kingdom, to an extent, of course, they kept the law. Did they fall off because they were breaking it? Absolutely. But at some point, they did, try to, at least keep the law, or at least some version of the law, which is why we have what's called a Karaite and Samaritan Mezuzah, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. This article deals mainly with the mezuzah as it is used in Rabbinic Judaism, but Karaite Judaism and Samaritanism have their own traditions. I want to read that because I'm gonna just get down to it. But yeah, if you see right here, it quotes Deuteronomy 6:9 as well as 11 verse 20 in regards to the mezuzah, right? But what we want is the one of the Samaritans, because that's Northern Kingdom. The Samaritans interpret the Deuteronomic commandment to mean displaying any select text from the Samaritan version of the 5 books of Moses. This is contain a blessing or a particularly holy or uplifting message. In the past, they placed a stone plaque. Stone plaque. I want y'all to remember this. A stone plaque, much like you see right over here. Stone plaque, right? A stone plaque inscribed with the 10 commandments. So again, in the past, they placed a stone plaque inscribed with the 10 commandments above the house door. Some examples dating back to the Byzantine 4th, 7th century, early Muslim 7th, 11th century, but we know what happened. It didn't really go that far. Periods being now shown in Israel Museum in Jerusalem. Nowadays, Samaritan mezuzah is usually made of either marble, wood, and plate. So this is just going into modern day of people, pretending to be the actual Samaritans, those of Northern Kingdom, But again, it didn't just because. Let's get it. So let's actually get it. Lord in Christ. No. Blue letter. No, we're not gonna auto search. That's not what we do. Y'all are so mean to me. They don't want to search it for me. They don't want to auto input what I'm writing. It's so rude and disrespectful. All right, let's start at 6. Deuteronomy 6:6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and it shall be as for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates. Right? And that's essentially, let's see what 11:20 says. But that's what you do, because on the outside of my doorpost, I didn't buy one, but I made them. So I just took some parchment and I wrote down the law, basically. Same thing. Deuteronomy 11:20. Essentially repeating the same thing. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates. Right? Which is what the Samaritans did. A lot of times they would actually write it on stone. Let me see if I can get that, because I thought I saw it. Well, either way, the main thing was a stone plaque is essentially where they would put it, right? That's really the main point that I wanted to get as far as the Samaritan Mezuzah. It would be a stone plaque above their doorpost, right? So they were already, using it in stone. And let's, hold on, Salakia. Where was it? I saw something on the actual language. Oh, summit, Did I skip it? Salakia, y'all. I want to make sure that I actually, get this. Tablets for the law. I know I seen it. I seen it. I'm looking for you. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you and make you known. 5 books of Moses. Salakia, it is very pertinent that I find what I'm looking for. Very, very pertinent. Salakia. Okay, I had it on this page then. Torah. Linear past Judaism. Through promised land. It ain't what I'm looking for. Bethel. Pentateuch. Texture that's similar. No. Where is it? I know I'm not tripping. There's literally a portion of this where it actually said that they, would write in what's called the Proto-Hebrew text. Like, let's do all this research and you lose stuff sometimes, man. Lord in Christ. The Samaritan text, but it was literally highlighted in blue. I may not be able to find it, Akim. Counts in Northern Kingdom, the land of Joseph. Well, there's that. That's not what I'm looking for. How you gonna have something and then lose it? Ain't that about a man? It's history, religious text. I really just went through here though. Salakia, y'all. If I can't find it here in a little bit, I'm just gonna go ahead and move forward. But they're really, all right, yeah, because I don't think I'm gonna find it here. See, they done took the information away. They didn't want me to give it to y'all, man. All right, it's all good though. But yeah, this is right now. This is just to show, that it is to show, Northern Kingdom, of course, still keeping the traditions they had the law. Of course, at some point they forsook the law. That's why they went to their captivity, which is what we're about to go into. I really want to find that passage. I'm about to just start taking snapshots of stuff beforehand. This is ridiculous. All right, yeah. All right, we're moving forward. I can't find it. It is what it is. But yeah, but like I said, the main thing was really just to read about what they called what they so-called Samaritanism is, and really just to show Northern Kingdom was still making masusas, right? And of course, since they spoke that proto, or what we would call Paleo Hebrew, that's what they would write it in. Not this guy, not that bastard right there, right? But let's go ahead and get into some scripture now, all right? Now we finna get biblical on this. All right, so I want to start with the book of Sirach, chapter 47. Just to show, because, some people will look this up like, oh, see, they'll think it's the actual, the people that are there now. No, those people did not have the law, This is the book of Sirach, chapter 47, and verse 21. So the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom. And why is it mentioned Ephraim? Because Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. And how are they rebellious? They began to go off into idolatry and start going into the ways of the heathen that were round about them, right? So that's how they are a rebellious house. And we're going to read about that. And we're going to make this full circle. So we're going to go into them being called this, being of Samaria. And then we're going to go into them, going to captivity. And then we're going to go into them fleeing that captivity to come over here in an attempt to keep the law. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 16 and verse 21. Then were the people of Israel divided, like we just read in the book of Sirach, kingdom divided. Then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Half of the people followed Tibnah and the son of Githnoth to make him king, and half followed Omir. So that lets you know that's that kingdom split. You have northern kingdom going one way, you have southern kingdom going the other way, right? That's why we, a lot of brothers and some sisters out there, they'll deny our northern kingdom brothers and sisters. But when you get down to the nitty gritty and look at who is here, and then you look up the archaeology and whatnot, you'll find that it was our people that was out here, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, and verse 9. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria. Why? Because that's their land. That was the capital, if I'm not mistaken. So when you read about the Samaritan woman in the book of Matthew in the New Testament, she would be of the northern kingdom. That's why she said our father Jacob, right? That's a Samaritan woman. Let me read that again. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah, Remaliah's son. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. So that's just to establish Northern Kingdom in its association, and its and showing that its kingdom was headed in Samaria, not Syria but Samaria. So when we read about things like Samaritanism, know that it does not stem from the heathen that came after they were taken from their land and then taken into Assyria, and then those heathen came and moved in and worshipped other gods and also attempted to worship the Most High as well. You could read that in 2 Kings 17. Other heathen came in round about, but understand that when he talks about Samaritanism, do remember that it was our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom that was there, and of course when they were taken captive, their stuff was there as well, right? And of course, since they, mixed and mingled with the heathen, following their traditions, I'm pretty sure those heathen also observed and learned some of their traditions as well, right? Moving forward, this is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And in the 12th year of Ahaz, and in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. So that lets you know who's reigning over the kingdom of Israel, Northern Kingdom, and notice that it's telling you in Samaria, because that's where the Northern Kingdom was. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, but not in the kings of and not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Why? Because he started to go off. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea. So a lot. These Johns is killing me, y'all. Salakia. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea, for he had sent messengers. For he had sent messengers to king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria. And he had done as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. And the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. And in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Syria. This is Northern Kingdom, the kingdom of Israel. The house of Ephraim going into captivity under the Assyrian Empire by way of Shalmaneser. And besieged it 3 years, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. Right? Okay, let me see something here. I just want to see something. Let's 17. What did I just read? 6. Now let's see. Now we know that what's by there is what's called the Euphrates River, right? Let's see something. Let's see how many times this word appears. Oh, what is this? Goes on. Means cutting off. A Mesopotamian city on or near the middle of the Euphrates, where exiled Israelites were settled. Wait the hell a minute. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't go to this earlier. I did not prep for this. I'm moving in the spirit right now. So we're gonna keep that up right there, right? So this is where he took them. I'm going to read that again. And placed them in Halah and in the harbor by the river of Gozan in the cities of the Medes. And so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared of the gods. Right. So again, this is Israel going into captivity. Why? Because of their idolatry and things of that nature. So let's keep this in mind. One of the cities that they were taken to was Gozan, which means a cutting off, a Mesopotamian city on or near the middle of the Euphrates, where exiled Israelites settled. Right? Now we're about to get into the nitty-gritty. This is going to be the book of 2nd Ezra, 13, and starting in verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those were the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king who Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. What did we just read in the book of 2nd Kings? Read it. We're going to do it again. We going to, because there's a lot of people who don't believe that the people who we say the Northern Kingdom is, they're like, well, how they get over the there's nowhere you can sell. They come with very redundant arguments, right? Let's read that again. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea. That's the same person that we just read about in 2nd Ezra 13. And he had sent messengers so that wait, do I skip the part? Oh, no, verse 3. And against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hosea became his servant and gave him presents. What did we just read in verse 40, 2nd Ezra 13 and 40? Those were the 10 tribes which were scattered, which were which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king who Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and came they into another land. How do you carry someone over a water? You put them on a boat, a ship, something that floats on water. And they took this counsel among themselves. So that now it's talking about the 10 tribes, the house of Ephraim, the kingdom of Israel, northern kingdom. And they took this counsel among themselves. This is while they're in a captivity, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So now this is northern kingdom coming together while they're in captivity, in exile in Assyria, saying that pretty much they're plotting on how to get out and go into a country where there's no heathen round about them, where it's just themselves, where they can only deal with themselves and no other heathen nations, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. What does this mean? They were given laws, statutes, and commandments, but were they keeping them in their land? No, that's why they got sent into captivity, because they were not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And just to show that, going back to 2 Kings 17, I'm starting at 9. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahweh their power, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city, and they set them up images and groves and oh my God, Salakia, been a long day, y'all. They set them in the high places of all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city, and they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree, and there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahweh carried away before them. They were doing the same things that the heathen were doing before they were there, right? and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahweh to anger. For they served idols, whereof Yahweh had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Right? And that's why they got that judgment of getting carried away captive, right? Because they didn't do it in their land. They, you know, when the kingdom was whole, we was practicing when they, you know, when they had their own land, when they became the kingdom of Israel, the house of Ephraim, they weren't doing that, as we just read. They were falling into heathen customs, right? Verse 43 in 2 Ezra 13. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. And where did we read that they were at? And Gozan, a Mesopotamian city on or near the middle of the Euphrates, where exiled Israelites were settled. Why is this important? There's a lot of our people and a lot of so-called, I would say Hebrew Israelite Christians, and of course those of our people that are stuck in Christianity, who say the Apocrypha, you know, isn't viable. But look, it says that they, one, were in Gozan in 2 Kings 17, verse 6. And that word goes on, which is a city in Assyria, it goes on. A quarry as a place of cutting stones goes on, a province of Syria. You see that? And this is where they dwelt, a Mesopotamian city on or near the middle of the Euphrates, where exiled Israelites were settled. That's how they were able to attain a ship. This is literally, if you really want to get into it, this would be a port city. If you have any major town by a waterfront, especially back in the day, you're going to use it for import and exports. And if they were in Gozan and it's a quarry city, a place where they would cut stones, what easier way to move a lot of stones than to put them on ships and transport them to wherever you need to go? You would need an actual ship to load these stones on. You can't put them on like a little rowboat or something like that. It'll sink. You would need a ship to do so if you're going to transport these stones, whether it be to another city, another country, another kingdom, or whatever it is, whatever the trade that you're doing within the river of the Euphrates, you are going to need a ship to carry heavy stones. You got to do research. And I'm going to read that again. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then shewed signs for them and had still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there is a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region was called Arsareth. Matter of fact, let me see this. Observing Moses. Hold on. Look at this. This is from JewishEncyclopedia.com by Morris Jarstro, Kaufman Connor, blah, 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 blah. So, the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration, according to 13 Esdras, or 2nd Esdras, or at least an edition of Esdras, 13th chapter, 45. Columbus identified America with this land. See Kirsling's Christopher Columbus, translated by Dr. C. Gross, page 15. Cite your citations. Well, come on now. I was just trying to get a definition on it, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that right there. Come on, man. Get these sources out. Let's see. How long would it take to sail by boat from, let's say, you know what? Let's do it. Syria to Puerto Rico. Let's just see. I'm curious. Okay, these are yes. It's not. You see, Google. This is Microsoft. Nope, they don't. See, they don't want to give me that year. They don't want to give me that information. That's fine though. But yeah, by old sailboat, it would take at least about a year and a half to get from Assyria all the way over to, you know, at least Puerto Rico, right? Or where the Americas would begin. So yeah, man, that's, you know, and let's finish the scripture real quick. Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. So yeah, man, you gotta understand that the northern kingdom is who came over here. They would be the ones to speak the Paleo Hebrew, as well as be able to, you know, come over here and write this. And you'll see this in the videos, man. Look, come on, man. Come on, man. Look at this. You got to be kidding me to sit here and say, you know, that it's not our people that came over here and do. Look at this. This is the law. Like, come on now. And up here you can see where, you know, people try to scratch it off. You know, when I went there, they did try to scrape it off, but the indentions of these letters of the Paleo Hebrew, they're so heavily grained in there, they couldn't even scratch all of it off all the way, right? You know, they tried it. You know, this place is all marked up with graffiti, but right here, nobody touches. Why? Only the Most High could do that. And like we was reading earlier, where would they put the Ten Commandments? You know, the Samaritan Masusa, they would put it engraved in stone plaques, right? Granted, it would be above the door, but come on now. You can't tell me that it's not our people that's in here, all right? But like I said, if you're ever in Los Lunas, New Mexico, or in that area, I highly recommend going to be there. Also, let me put this out there as well before I forget. Right outside of the garbage dump, which this is across the way from, when you have to literally leave, this is within I'd say a football field, 100 yards of the end and the beginning of the Laguna Indian Reservation. That's where this is outside of. It's literally right outside of an Indian reservation. You gotta be really, really messed up in the head to sit here and think that the so-called Native Americans of the Native Seminole Indians and the Native Americans who we call the Latinos and Hispanics, that they're not our people. When this is literally in their land, and right across a football field away, this stone is sitting across from a so-called Indian reservation, the Laguna Tribe Indian Reservation, man. And they have a plethora of land. And we know that, you know, America, they've done nothing. They keep downsizing those our tribesmen's lands like that, man. All right. But with that, I want to give Call Halal Abanaw Yahweh Bahashem Mashiach Malaki Hawashai Shalom.